Okay, it is Friday, February 25th, 2022, and we are live. Welcome everyone back to this very special Friday night edition of the SouthPoint Podcast, episode number 38. That almost felt like a Saturday Night Live intro, like live from South Haven. It's Friday night.
Live from South Haven.
Yeah.
It's Saturday night.
My name is Carlos Tello, and I'm beyond excited to be with you all today. And it is because we have some very, very special guests in the house. They will be with us all weekend long. But first, let me introduce some of my favorite people in the entire world on my left over here.
I'm one of your
my
favorites.
left, your right. Pastors Craig and Patti.
Whoop, whoop.
What is up?
What's up? We hanging.
How are y'all doing?
We're here.
Yes.
Because normally on Friday nights this month, we have brought back Cooking with the Wendels.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And we're doing this series called Secret Ingredient, which Pierre will continue that conversation Sunday. But you thought actually, hey, they're in town.
It was actually Miss Patty's
Was it her
idea
idea?
because I originally had you guys. I was like, hey, I need y'all to come on the podcast again on a normal or a Thursday slot. We have a marriage summit coming up. And she was like, hey, Pierre's coming and Marlize are coming. And I'm like, holy smokes, this is just too good an opportunity. Can we make this happen? Yes, right. That's right. So if y'all want to introduce our guests, we've already mentioned them by name, but I mean, I'm not worthy. I don't feel like I am.
I'm not worthy.
I feel a little inadequate right now, as you talked about a couple weeks ago.
Man, I am.
That's a setup.
We are really excited to have Pierre and Marlize Plessis. 2 plus 3? Did I say it right? Plessis. He taught me how to say his last name. He said, just say 2 plus 3 really fast.
2 plus 3?
Plessis.
Plessis.
So I get it. I did it right.
100%.
So they pastor an amazing church called Father's House in Rochester, New York. And Pierre and I almost said hooked up earlier, but that's to the young people. That means something completely different.
We tied
We
a
didn't
rope together.
We met on a fishing trip, 8 years ago, I think? 7 or 8 years ago, and we've just been friends ever since. 9. Wow. Yeah. You're getting old, dude.
No, look at the camera. Who looks what?
My bad. So we're so excited to have them with us. They're going to, of course, be throwing out truth bombs at this marriage summit tomorrow, and then he'll be with us Sunday. So.
I can't wait. This is so much fun.
Pretty stoked.
Pastor Pierre, you were here on the very second episode of this little thing that we're doing here, this podcast,
amazing.
and it's evolved where we are now.
38 now, right?
38, and there was a little pandemic in the middle of that, so we didn't record for a little bit. So we should be a little bit higher in the numbers, but absolutely, we are so glad that you're here.
Well done.
First time return guest. So, so we were talking before air. Y'all have eaten all the good things already since you've been here.
I can hardly breathe. It's unbelievable.
It's a different world.
It is.
Yeah. It is a different world. There is no place like Memphis for food. Are we in Mississippi or Memphis?
Right now you're in Mississippi,
We're in
South
Mississippi
Haven.
right. Memphis is literally like right there.
It's the same thing
you can
to
shoot
me.
a potato gun.
It is
it's
kind of
the
the
South,
same thing. It is.
and it's there is no bad food.
No.
There is not.
There is. We just haven't taken you there.
Okay.
We know of some bad food. We're just not going to take you there.
Okay. Well, minus your chain places probably, but I mean most of the unique, places around here.
It's so good.
So good.
It's just when I'm done, I can't breathe for like 4 hours.
And then in 4 hours, Patty's ready to take us for our next meal.
I know. It's funny because every meal that we've sat down, I'll be like, okay, this is what we're eating. This is where we're eating now. And the next time you're going to eat is, and I tell them when they're going to eat again so they know how much to eat. So this morning at brunch, it was like, okay, we're going to eat again this evening at 5. So take that into consideration when you're ordering.
So good.
That's what we do down here in the South.
That's kingdom
Okay, let's talk about where we've been. We've been
That's
to.
right. That's kingdom living.
We've been to.
That'll preach.
Where did we start yesterday? Itabena was the
We went
first.
to BB King's and listened to a band.
Yes. Ooh, that was good. We went and listened to some music while we were waiting on our table. Then we went to Itabena for dinner, and then we went to Brother Juniper's today for brunch. Some good stuff.
For dinner.
Then we had the parish for
I
dinner.
had biscuits
I can't breathe.
and
I'm telling you
pancakes.
right now.
And Patty.
And I go in hard. I go in hard. Even
not
if I'm not
afraid
going to
to
eat
eat.
it, I'm going to order it. Because I can't lie in bed and my mind says, why don't you get it?
Yeah, you can't miss it.
No, I can't.
Pretty soon you're going to invite Pierre and he's going to be like, forget the preaching. What are we eating?
Right.
What are we eating?
Yep.
Yeah.
And you know what is so strange? We come from sharing is once it's good, everybody's got to taste it. So last night I was drinking something and I go like, just dip your finger in here. Just
to a complete
complete
stranger.
They go like, no. I go like,
I kept saying to Pierre, would you ever, if the roles were reversed,
Yes.
Would you stick your finger?
would you stick your finger
Heck
in
yeah.
a stranger's drink? And I mean, especially after the season we've all come through in the world.
Right.
But
I beg 3 of them.
those
I beg you, just
filters-
put your finger and you put it in your mouth.
Yeah, the marriage conference
the
is going
joy
to
of
be
it.
great.
It's gonna be awesome. But isn't it cool when when you enjoy something because you want to share it with
yeah.
somebody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so true.
100%.
The minute, like a movie or a stand-up comedian or food, whatever it is, if it's good, we turn to the people that we love and we're like, "Hey,
Here, try this."
Yeah, joy
And-
can't be contained.
Like when you wanted me to see the bird.
Oh,
You'll
what
have
does
to
C.S.
tell-
Lewis says?
Okay.
He says, you can't look at a sunrise and fully take it in unless you invite somebody to take it in with you. Otherwise, it's like a hole-in-one on a solo play.
I don't think he said that. Those exact
No, I
words.
added the last part.
Yeah.
But he does.
I think
C.S. Lewis
I
never
think
talks
he
about golf.
you
C.S.
improved
Lewis
it.
No, but
Talked
he
about
did
golf.
say that.
Yes, he
says,
did.
About the
says-
sunrise.
Yeah, that's why a life is about people
Yeah.
To be shared.
and the human interaction. Otherwise, the experience is incomplete. That's good.
That was
Right.
like
That's
that.
really
It was
good.
like that piece of okra that I made you eat a while ago.
Yeah.
He'd never had
Pickled.
pickled okra.
Oh.
Pickled
But
okra.
apparently, there's a wrong side to bite, and I attempted to bite the wrong side.
Yeah,
a
he was
few
going to eat the
times.
stem side.
You starting with
first.
the stem, and she was in the restaurant. No. I'm like, hey, bring it down.
Turn it around, eat the other end, and sweet tea. So
Oh, sweet tea!
Oh,
I'm going to
sweet
get
tea.
an IV of that. That's so good.
yeah, so we share.
Send them
'Cause
some
life is
gallons of
better.
sweet tea on the way
Yeah.
home.
Right.
We could probably do that.
So good.
So good.
So good.
Hey, I want to
So
welcome
good.
everybody who is joining us live right now there out there on social media. Join in on the conversation tonight. Drop your questions and comments and your likes and your love, your little hearts too. Whatever.
I thought you were going to say likes and dislikes. I'm like, no.
no,
There's not a
dislikes.
dislike button
No,
on Facebook
just
or anything,
dislike.
so we're good on that. We will definitely get to as many questions as we can in comments, and so y'all get active with us. Let me go ahead and give a shout out to our producer Katie back here, making us look and sound great, and my wife is over here helping us out on social media.
Yes.
Hey,
Love
Jackie.
you, Jackie.
Hey.
Love us some Jackie.
Hey.
So enthusiastic. Y'all are too full to talk.
Do you
Yeah.
feel loved?
We are too full to talk. We shouldn't have eaten before we did this. You may
Is
not
there
get
better?
anything
Is there
out.
no better way to have community and relationship over some good food? I mean, isn't that the
Yeah.
best thing ever?
So beautiful.
That's the best thing ever. I've been watching this TV show, and this is way off of what I was about to talk about, but it kind of goes along the same way. And I was telling you that it was a wholesome moment in this show that we talked about. You kind of laughed at me, and
Oh, that
there was
show.
a reason
You found
for
a
it because
wholesome moment.
there's a character who kind of was an oddball character, and he invites this whole group of people to his house, and you could tell he's never had that many people in his house. By the end of it, the entire team of people have come, and his wife's like, where are they all going to sit? And so they find places, and he said this as he toasts. He said, this is for the family that we grew up with and the family we meet along the way.
Oh, wow.
And that, I'm serious, this is a comedy. And I was at my lunchroom at work, and I started tearing up because all I could think about was the people that I met along the way,
That's powerful.
that I made relationships here at SouthPoint Church, not only just here, but just along the way, who have become my family. Because
Yeah.
I could say that my blood family we're not close, but some of the people that we're friends with are a lot closer. And so there's no more important thing than a community and relationship and, hey, a good meal.
So let me ask you this.
Okay.
It's not that I'm running this,
goodness,
but
he's
let me ask
asking
you
me a
this. Why did it make you tear up? Because what was the dissonance that you say, this is truly what life's about, but the life we live doesn't allow it?
Yeah, I grew up with my family being so close. I have a Mexican family. We're large. I can't even count as many cousins and things we have. And there was up to a certain point where that all just dissipated, and we no longer get together. And it's been quite a long time since that's happened. So I am no longer close with my family, and so I felt like besides my wife and my kids, we went through a long period of time where I felt like we really didn't have good close knit of people around us that we could confide in, talk to, cry with, do life with. And we came to SouthPoint Church, and this is going to be a massive commercial for SouthPoint Church and Pastor Craig. But I think we were so
Can
welcome
you
and
add in the
invited.
part there when you came, Jackie didn't like SouthPoint?
Well, that's
Church?
true. My wife didn't.
Okay.
True story.
Go ahead. I'm not going to look behind me. You just keep telling. I'll
It's like
just
this death
fit
stare
that
coming
part
to your
in
head.
there.
Yeah, I mean, we came to this church and we felt so welcomed, and everything in me still felt like an outcast there for a little bit, but as soon as I plugged in and I jumped in, I began to build relationships through community groups, through doing life, through serving in different areas, and I believe that it has made our lives so much better because of it. And the last probably 4 or 5 years have been some of the best in our lives because of
makes me happy.
people like Craig and Patti,
Yeah.
and some of our amazing friends that we have out there that might be watching.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I think that's why it hit me so hard, is because even though I long for what I used to have, I have family here already. I have family with me, and I think that's why it got me so emotional.
Yep.
So
Thanks for
Church
sharing
family.
that.
yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what we're here for, right?
Yep.
You got any other deep questions you
Oh,
want to
my
ask him?
goodness.
This is
You're
kind
gonna
of fun.
make him cry.
Oh, I'm
I-
holding back. Because
Not supposed to ask me
Carlos is
questions.
like, this is my podcast. This is my podcast.
because the emotion
And I'll
of that,
cry if I want
the
to.
emotion,
Yes.
the emotion of that is so tangible, and I think there's part of the tangible emotion that's a longing of the human soul. Even the longing of, we don't understand, and I can't wait for him, not now, if he doesn't want to explain a big, joyful Mexican family.
Yes.
Right? Because there is something in that that marks life with humanity. Because right now we're sitting in a world of extreme isolation. Jacqueline wrote the most beautiful post, recognizing we've never been so connected, but yet so isolated and disconnected. And I think that transcends not just the human experience, but relationships, marriages, children, together but apart. So that's why I'm very interested in that emotion, because it's the human heart.
Yeah.
Well, I'm an emotional person, as is. Anyway.
Oh, me too.
The last time
all
you and
of
I-
us.
Last
just
time
all
we talked,
cry.
you made me cry at a Mexican restaurant. So I think Craig still makes fun of you for that.
I
Yeah.
still make fun of you for it. That's
Yeah.
my job.
Some delicious tacos, and I'm over here like.
I said, hey, Pierre's coming. Don't cry, Carlos. Pierre's coming.
I am a very emotional person, but I mean that's just who I am.
That's
okay,
beautiful.
right?
You feel things deeply.
I do.
That's
I
good.
do.
It's
Empath.
better than not feeling them at all.
It is, and I'm still going to make fun of you.
I won't look anywhere else but beside me. There we go. I won't look anywhere else.
Yeah, I have enough emotion for my entire family. I guess I could say that. So I did want to ask this question, as far as we're talking about relationships, and it goes about how busy I know that you guys are as pastors and as heads of your respective churches. How do you guys find the balance for healthy relationships, not only as pastors, but for each other and your spouses, your kids, and close friends, and even your outer circle? How do you find that healthy balance and stay the course?
I'm going to pass it to Marlize, because I think, honesty is such a beautiful thing, because the expectation is that you're going to get a great answer. But the truth is, the processing of life when you look back creates the same kind of emotion you just felt. When you look at your journey, you look at all you have done, and all of it is great. But time moves, and the time... Oh, I must just say it then. You've got to talk. You've got to talk. A young guy came to me and he says, hey, I want a big church, really big church. It's going to be bigger than any church before. How do I do it? I go like, okay, what if I tell you in 20 years you're going to put joy in a plastic bag and it can fit in your back pocket? I said, you still want to do it? Not that it's bad,
Right.
but the price that it pays. And then when you're going to be old one day, and they keep us alive long in this, I still want to be a problem to a lot of people. All you're going to have is what you wish and what you remember. So you can... How do you experience that evolving?
I like what you say, because even the question, immediately I go, oh my gosh, am I going to be honest with you, or am I going to curate an answer that sounds really sexy? But
What if you give an honest answer in
and
a
it's
sexy
sexy.
voice?
That's going to be the challenge.
There you go.
I think what these last 2 years have done for humanity is it has reminded, it's been a great leveler. And regardless of whether you are pastoring or shepherding or you're a parent, no matter who you are, you've realized the value of belonging and being seen and seeing others. And I think for us was the conversation, where did we miss the beautiful limits that that God puts on us? And as pastors of large congregations, where did we lose the fact that even Jesus, he lived within the limits of his own humanity. And I love to think that Jesus came, the Son of God came he came to seek and save the lost. Secondly, how did he do it? One meal at a time. He sat around a table with 8 or 9 people, and he saw them, and he had conversation, and there was this divine exchange. And he would walk away from the table and potentially say, hey, how about you come and follow me? And so for me, it has become this growing awareness that I want to sit around tables. I want to have the deep exchange with a few individuals. It cannot happen in a room with thousands. And actually, that's been the gift of the season, right? The COVID season is, how am I going to do that? And you can talk about how we've been fleshing that out in our home.
Are you going to answer honestly, or are you going to curate a sexy answer?
Sexy way.
You're going to go sexy way. Here it is.
No, it is. Processing is dangerous because processing is healthy, but people want to take what you process and make it absolute as an indictment as where you've now arrived, right? So when you're young and you hear somebody process that has journeyed ministry life, then you go like, oh, they're just making excuses because they can't make it work anymore. And that's not the truth. Because I think there is no clear answer as much as reinviting the value of what the experience of the human experience, enjoying life, righteousness, peace, and joy is the temperature of the kingdom of God. But if we had to walk in that temperature and refuse to build anything that will move us out of right standing, outside peace, inhabited, and joy that's constant.
Are we sounding very ethereal?
Yes.
Yes. I can feel that.
Okay, so let me break it down. It's terrible. No. It's hard because we don't understand. You guys have got 3 kids?
Yes.
What ages again?
They are,
12?
how old are they? 11, 9, and 7.
9 and 7.
We have to
Yeah.
look off camera for their proper ages.
I'm like, have they turned another age yet? No, they're not.
And
They're
if
still
you
the same.
think about that, they ask a lot. They want to be with you.
Yes.
You are looking for moments to escape. You go like, oh, go look outside of the house, and you run the other way and go like, oh gosh, I'm buying myself 3 minutes, right? And then
Go
the
in
day,
the bathroom and lock the door.
yeah,
Yes.
and then the day comes where you now look at them and say, the best gift you can give me is to invite me to coffee. That's the best gift you can give me. When you I sat my son down and I said to him, your mom always had to put me down. She put pennies in a bottle every night. I was out.
Oh.
After a month, the bottle is full, right? And of course, I said, I'm going to put pennies in a bottle every time you say yes when I get home, right? Because now I'm like, I've got to fight this thing.
Yeah.
Because, hey, this is what life requires. But the moment comes where you had to make time for them, and now all of a sudden you are asking them to make time for you. And the biggest gift is just them wanting to see your eyes and wanting to open their hearts. And I think, what if the Church of Jesus has missed the very thing that your heart just emotionally connected, and that marriage just thrives in intentional slowness and seeing each other, making room for each other, that the very thing we long for that we work for is actually going to take who we are when we get there. Right? You work yourself to pieces, you go to Disney, but you're not in Disney already doing business on your phone because we can have a better Disney, but you can't even enjoy this Disney.
Yeah.
And that wheel always turns. And the cost of that busyness, I think, is very hard to calculate when you're convinced that there is a destination.
No, you just missed your microphone.
Did I? I'm so sorry, my love. So the shortest answer of all of this is we're processing. And the importance of eating and being present at the table and seeing people. Seeing people at the airport, seeing people, recognizing that every moment is a moment where you seeing their humanity elevates who they are, because the world doesn't stop.
That's right.
So I think there's a whole thing. Remember, it's processing. Don't write anything down. It's processing.
But what if you open your eyes to a person that you've been so busy? What about those people who are out there who have opened their eyes and had to look in the face of the person that they have spent so much time and effort and money building a life for, and then during this season they've had to look in those eyes and go, "I'm sorry, who are you again?" I think that's one thing that has happened to marriages during the isolation and during all of this, and to families, that dads and moms and kids have all come home and they're like, "Oh wait, I'm sorry, what's your name again?" Because they've taken so much time building the life that they want for their family.
Yes.
But they don't know who they are anymore. They've completely lost who they were building it for.
They were so busy. One of my buddies, we were talking the other day, and he has a bunch of frequent flyer points. You know, he's on Delta. He's a whatever's the top diamond, I guess, whatever. And the other guy was standing there, and he went looking at his phone. We were getting ready to get on an airplane. He said, "Wow, you're a diamond. You have a lot of points." He said, "Yeah, those are the points to remind me how much time I've spent away from my family." And he said, "It keeps score, but it's the other direction." And I was just like, "Ooh, that's a good point," you know, because guys are always like, "Oh, I want to have this or this," but the only way you get that is to be gone. And the most important thing is what's at home. And so you said at the beginning of this question, you said, "I know you guys are busy." That's one word I'm trying to get away from. I think busy. I think busy is a choice.
Yep.
Right.
And as pastors, I think we can, and people, even the people watching and listening right now, they'll say all the time, "Pastor Craig, I know you're busy, but
We only work on Sundays, right?
I know you're busy, but," and I'm like, I'm not though.
Right.
I mean,
I am.
do I have a job? Yes. Do I keep busy?
That's so
Well,
good.
sure.
Yeah.
But I'm not too busy for you. I'm not too busy to have a conversation. And I think, like you're saying, even through the airport and all of that, we can either be busy on our phones and busy on our computers and everything, or we can just be going from point A to point B and paying attention to humanity that's around us. And so I'm not saying I've achieved it at all, but I'm really genuinely trying to not be busy. That was one of those things. I know you've read it, the book, The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry
Yeah.
by Comer. By the way, if you think I read a lot of books, Marlize reads 3 times the amount of books
It's
I
so
read.
scary. I don't retain the information, but I do read a lot.
Do you read multiples at a time?
Oh, yes.
My gosh, I can't even
and
process
and
that.
for joy and fun, I love
For fun.
reading thesis documents, just real like serious academic papers. I just have it's such a joy.
She makes my head hurt.
My ultimate life would be sitting in a room with a view and just books and academic papers.
And so what are you on the Enneagram, Marlize?
A 4,
A
3.
4.
Yeah.
We have another
Hello.
4 in the room, don't we?
So let me
No.
ask you this. I think the problem is a little bit deeper. If you say to
Gotta talk faster.
Maishi, I can't go faster than I'm hearing the thinking. I'm a thoughtful human.
He's having to translate into English as he does
Oh.
this.
Anders kan ek net Afrikaans praat en ek kan baie
You
vinnig
just
praat.
helped
Right?
me.
I hope you all got that.
I've
They're
never
like that.
thought of that.
Yeah, I've got a
So he's
translator. I
having to
speak, I
translate.
speak Dutch.
Yes.
So let me ask you this. If you tell me right now, a couple of years ago, just slow down and be mindful. I can't slow down because I'm running from myself. I can't.
I'll catch up with me.
You take me on vacation. I'm a lunatic. I feel like when she says, "Oh, let's just binge watch the series," I go like, "Please tell me how many seasons in this," because I'm chewing the pillow, but I don't want her to see my eyes.
Yeah.
Because I know she's going to think I'm disconnected. But I'm not disconnected. I'm running because my worth is in my speed.
Yeah.
My worth is in what I build.
Your worth is in your work. That's your identity.
Yeah.
It's worse than that.
Yeah, it's
My
worth
worth is being fully persuaded that I'm of no worth unless I can help people. So you would sit down, I don't care who it is, and within 5 minutes, I'm going to find a problem in you.
Yeah.
And
Or
I'm
Then I'm gonna help you
he'll
fix
break
it.
something to fix it.
I'm going to fix
Or
it.
we'll break something
No,
to fix
that's
it.
a true story.
I will, and I always believe I'm 3 people away from fixing your problem. And I will sit there and call those 3 people, and before we leave, either I'm going to overpromise and underdeliver, or I'm about to be Jesus to you,
Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
right?
Pierre.
And then I walk back, I go like, dang,
That's why I said we are processing.
wasn't God
And
so
it's-
good?
Like
Absolutely.
we are reconstructing our wiring around slow living, around kingdom living, not to attain something one day at the end of this beautiful life and journey on earth, but how are we actually living the kingdom right now? Like hospitality and meals and slow living and mindfulness isn't what we're going to become one day. It's actually, it is the kingdom now.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But we've been running for 20 something
Yes.
years in ministry,
Yeah.
and so we're not doing ourselves any favors by not integrating all the aspects of our humanity. You know, not just our spirits, but our bodies and our souls, and so we are in process. So when you ask that question, we do sound ethereal because there's so much that we are asking the Lord to really help us rewire.
So let me throw this on this. Where this I stay with the microphone.
I think Carlos is asking.
No,
I'm gonna
go ahead.
I'm gonna
Hey.
dip it in there. And
This is perfectly
tell you.
fun.
You know, we go to therapy because otherwise our marriage would have been in a very sad chapter that potentially I would be in Alaska right now because I would not be able to stand the shame of helping everybody else. But I've drifted, she has drifted, and it's unintentional. But the moment you realize how you've drifted and you have no energy to swim back, the current's too strong.
Yeah.
It was so hard. So we started therapy, and it's beautiful therapy because I didn't need scripture and a prayer. I needed to understand my soul of what I'm running from. And it's not running, but part of this whole deal was discovering. I came home and I said to my daughter, "Baby, don't tell your mom, but I'm really screwed up because I'm never present." She says, "I'm with her, but my body is there, but my eyes are not. My presence is not." I go like, "Oh gosh, I think I need shock therapy or something." And she says, "Dad, actually no." She says, "It's that part of you that packed six suitcases 22 years ago and brought us to America. It's that part of you that believed that we could." She says, "It's just an overgrown muscle."
And it's not a friend. It's not your friend anymore. You can say goodbye.
Yeah, she says,
You can let it
you
go
can
now.
thank that
Thank
muscle
that part of you.
that always are restless and needed to do something.
But we
Thank
don't
you,
need
but I
that.
don't need you right now.
Yeah.
Acknowledge it.
And that's your daughter that said that?
Yes.
No, our kids really coach us through life.
Right?
It really, they do.
And then,
Both of them.
and then she says, "Dad, so here's the thing. How about when you sit with people, you don't find commonality in finding their problem?" I go, "Now what we're going to talk about." Right? Because, and then when there's a problem, Dad, how about you learn how to sit in their pain
Yes.
and not solve their pain? It has been an incredible incredible journey, because I've always felt if I can't solve it, I'm worth nothing. Not realizing there
Your
are
worth
very
was in the
few
solving.
people that actually are willing to sit in someone's pain because it either irritates them or they want to fix it. So we are learning right now in this season the personal journey, and I think for us all in our marriages, in evolving as humans, the impact of COVID, and not seeing what is exposed sounds very dramatic, unveiled as shame, but as an opportunity for God to continue to shape and mold, because there's in you something already, but maybe it's an overgrown muscle that needs to not be needed. Making sense?
Yes, my darling.
So how would that translate to you guys?
Yes, my darling. I just love. Yes, my darling. She's so
I
sweet.
just wish I would talk to you like that.
Has she called
Yeah,
you? Has she
baby.
called
Has
you
she-
Lord yet? Has that happened yet?
No, she has not called me Lord. That was from Sunday, Sarah
Not gonna
Abraham.
happen.
Oh, Sarah,
I don't think she should, but
Thank you.
No, wait a minute. What?
Thank you.
my Lord. I
Come
thought you were
on.
talking about Gilded
Okay.
Age or
Pierre, wait a minute. Let me ask you a
Downton
question.
Abbey.
How would it
Yeah.
be? How would it make you feel as a man if you walked into the house and your lovely wife was standing there and she said, "Welcome to the manor, Lord Pierre"?
The
look at her. Do you think she ever going to say that?
I didn't say she was ever going to say.
No.
She never said it either. But I'm just asking you. Nobody else is
Because I've
listening.
been married long enough to know there's more value in me go like, welcome, Queen Bee, to the hive.
oh, you're making me feel bad.
No, because again, this is what I believe. I believe that a man's words has profound impact in shaping,
Yes.
right?
I always say when
Profound.
Pierre leans into, I mean, the message, what is the message version that says his words evoke beauty in her?
Yeah, he
I've
says
always
his
said-
words brings out the glistening beauty,
Beauty in her. I
Oh,
always say
Listen.
to Pierre, when he leans into me, like, or
Can
he,
I write that down?
Message Galatians.
like
in the
I,
Bible.
Is it in the Bible? Okay. It's biblical.
more than anybody's voice over my life, I'm obviously not talking about God, but Pierre's voice has the ability to
No, any
change
man.
and shape the trajectory.
Any man, really, because
I don't want other
No,
men telling
no,
us
no, no,
things.
no,
I'm
no.
talking
It's-
about in
no,
our
it's much
marriage.
I think you
different.
mean in the context of your marriage,
no,
any man.
no, listen.
I think what you're saying is like when a business, like if in business, if a man is able to really see the value of the women who work in that space, or an educator, or what beautiful heart of a father can call greatness out of his daughter. I don't think men understand the power of their words and what it is able to do to our souls. You know.
Yeah,
I think
but
that's
it
what
is,
you were
and I
saying.
will. Any man can make you feel like if you work for someone and
Yes.
they
But there's a
appreciate you. But there is a specific,
Yes.
there's a specific place that when you speak to me or about me, or if I hear you talking to someone else about me and you're raving about something, there is a special place that no other man can speak to.
Yes.
That just comes to life, just like you
Yes.
said, glistens, comes to life, has newness, it's like, and the rest of the world is killing that space all day,
100%.
long, every day, killing that space. And all it takes is for you to just walk in the door and say one thing, and that space is back to life, just like that.
Like when I walk in and say, "Why is dinner not ready yet?
Not that.
Why have you not cleaned the kitchen?" None
Not
of those.
that.
That's not.
That
none of
those are not the words I was looking for.
You know
I'm
what?
kidding, Pierre.
No, you're not.
No, but
I'm
then-
worried. I'm going to write your name down. No, I'm just messing with you. No,
He's gonna fix you.
But again, think about how the world has evolved and how the culture is shaping men disconnected from emotion, silent pain,
Don't be
silent
emotional.
pain. Then you go like, release your emotions. Are you kidding me? They will beat doors down because no ability to. I was raised in a home very loving, but affection was never expressed. It wasn't a birthday
Yeah.
card once a year. I loved mom and dad, but we never read the card, it was inconsequential. It just tells you who the gift is from.
Yep.
When I met Marlize and I went to the first thing, I opened the card. I go like, oh, it's from her. I threw it away and I opened the gift and she says, why did you not read the card? I go like, I read it. It's from you.
Yeah.
She go like, no, the gift is just what comes with the real gift, and that's the card,
The
Yes.
words.
right?
Yep.
Because Scripture says, whatever Adam named them, that's what they were, right? And for and it's hard. It's so hard because it's got to come from something that wants nothing in return, but the validation of God's creation. That is the affirming of what is there, not for self-gain. And I think that's the power of what we have, but it happens in the 7-second moments of slowness in a marriage. If we look at our spouses, I'm going to say one last thing, then I want to hear something else. In Israel, we were exposed to a Sabbath.
You got to interrupt him if you need to, Carlos.
okay,
You've
don't.
just got to
Oh,
interrupt
yeah,
him.
yeah, just...
Like our tech team back
You,
home.
hey,
just has
y'all
to
are
go.
a guest. We're here all the time. We're always talking.
Oh, no,
over here.
we'll talk forever because it goes a mile a minute.
Craig, just be honest.
Okay.
Does Pierre talk a lot?
No, I fish and then I talk.
No, Patty, be honest.
I process
You
out
know
loud.
I don't
Marlize, let's let
care
him
if he
finish.
talks
Go
so
ahead.
like I'm listening to, I'm trying to just soak up every word he says, so I don't care because I don't get much time with him.
Okay.
So
I
I can see
process
how
out
you might
loud.
think that.
So, in Israel, we were
He
at
doesn't
this
care.
whole thing where they were demonstrating or modeling the Sabbath. Right? We all believe in Sabbath, we all want it, but we don't have time for it.
Right.
The most beautiful thing is how the Father calls every one of his children and he speaks blessing over them and explains to them what their name means and what they will become.
Really? Every week?
Every Sabbath.
Oh,
But here's-
everyone.
Here's the most beautiful
But hear
part.
this part.
Then he brings his wife
This, I mean,
and he looks in the
and you have
eyes.
to demonstrate.
No,
Like
no,
reenact
no,
it. Oh, sorry.
no.
It's okay.
Then he sings over her,
Over his wife.
over his wife, the song of love, Proverbs 31.
Did you
32.
say 32?
Proverbs
There's only
31.
31 Proverbs, Pierre.
It's all in the same Bible. So he sings over her that she's the gem above all gems, the beautiful among all the women. He sings this beautiful blessing over her, right? And he says this, that's why they don't have that amount of divorces, because you can't sing that over your wife when you're angry at her. So you've got to settle your anger by Sabbath.
By Friday.
I was just going to say, when you were sharing that, I'm thinking, how much marital fighting would that cut down
Yep.
on?
Exactly.
If you knew
'Cause
that every
every-
week you were going to have to do that.
Every 7 days.
Yep.
You know, I'm going to sing this
You're
song
going
and
to
I'm going to
figure
be looking
out
at my
your
spouse.
stuff. You're going to
And,
figure
and, and that day is a day of delight.
And you're not going to let it sit. It's not. You're not going to be able to just sit on something that you're dealing with for
No.
week after week after week, like some of us do.
that is why God has he so beautifully has created Sabbath and rhythm for us as humans, and when we distorted that, we just lost so much.
Yep.
Yeah, we went as we do. We go big or go home. Like we did Sabbath big in our house.
Oh, it's so fun.
Like we get excited all week now, and like candles. We plan the menu. It's a big deal. It's a big deal to us.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And it truly is about. If you ever have read the book Abraham Heschel's book on Sabbath, have you read that?
I have it. I gave it to everybody
You go-
on staff and
Isn't
said, "Here,
that-
you need to read this," and they all did, and they all came back with different.
The
Responses.
interpretations.
Yes.
But I loved it. I've read that book several times.
So there's one part, just one sentence that always stood out to me, how he talks about walking the farm or the property, the borders of his grandfather or his father's farm, and he sees this fence that's broken, and he wants to fix it, but he knows
On
he
Sabbath.
can't on the Sabbath, and then says, he makes a promise to himself, I'll go back on Monday to fix it, and then decides he's going to leave it, because it will always be a reminder that while we walk the earth, while we are living in this paradox that is yet still here but not the yet. What does that say?
Yeah.
Let it be a reminder that there
Yes.
will be this. There are things that are
Always
left undone.
left undone.
And that is the gift of Sabbath. Like you have to let it go. You have to let
But
it
we
go.
think we can actually get everything done.
Yeah.
Yes.
We were
that's
talking
a
about
lie.
Enneagram
That's just-
numbers before that, and I'm an Enneagram 1, and there is no such thing as thinking, letting it go. Because if I let it go, once again, it's part of my psyche. It's part of my worth is that I got it all done before X time was my deadline, and I got it all done before that deadline. Then I've accomplished, and I feel worthy of whatever. Because that's what I try not to do that, but that is what I naturally gravitate towards. Is my worth is in the fact that I can get it done. I do try to Sabbath, but if I get to that Friday morning and I'm not finished with everything that needed to be done, it's nagging me all day long. It's hard.
It's so tough.
It's tough. Well, we're in this go world though.
Yeah.
That is what we do.
Yeah.
Especially in the United States of America, we are constantly on the move and going, and that is the American way, is it not?
Anti-kingdom.
Because we're
Not
going after
necessarily
the American.
Not necessarily the kingdom way.
And not that long ago, we talked about being kingdom living and
Yep.
kingdom mindset, have that kingdom mindset.
Yep.
Yes.
And that's why we struggle so hard to contain those relationships, because we're so busy doing other things, right?
Yep.
Building the American dream when the American dream was never God's dream to begin with.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah. Very
Well,
true.
we are officially around 14 hours away from the Marriage Summit right here at SouthPoint Church tomorrow morning
So fun.
at 9 a.m. It is going to be amazing. I think breakfast is 8:30. Is that right?
Yeah, the doors will open at 8:30, and
Doors
we're going to
open
have
8:30?
breakfast. We're going to have the biscuits of the gods. We're having some Jesus chicken
The
biscuits.
fillet of the chicken.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, we're going to have some chicken biscuits.
Do you know that
and
our
some-
whole city only got a Chick-fil-A? We've got two now, but we only got Chick-fil-A 2 years ago.
Oh my goodness, how did you live?
So
The
how did
city
you?
No
came
wonder you
to
didn't know how
a
good sweet tea
traffic
was.
jam.
No wonder.
Yeah.
No wonder the kingdom is just now starting to advance. You
Well,
can't
listen,
have
we talk about
kingdom
all
without.
the food, but we're about to
Chick-fil-A,
get
right?
we're about to get 2 Whataburgers here in South Haven.
Yeah.
So
You have an unfair
Listen.
advantage to kingdom living down here. You really do. You
Because
do.
we have Jesus chicken. So yes, we're gonna be. The doors will open at 8:30, and we'll have breakfast.
So what can people expect?
We're gonna come in at 8:30. We're gonna have breakfast. We're gonna start right at 9 o'clock. And honestly, Craig and I had this thing in our mind, and we were all gonna be in Kids Point, and we were gonna be around these round tables. It was gonna be kind of like conversations, and it was gonna be awesome. And
My goal. Can I just say my numeric
Sure.
goal? My numeric goal was to have about 70 people. Show
not
up.
70 couples, 70
If
people.
we could have 70 people show up, that would be great, because it's the first one we've ever done. I mean,
Right.
we've never done one of these before. And so I like to have low expectations on the front end, and then I'm not near disappointed, you know?
Right.
It just makes my life easier. So why not set yourself up for success by thinking you're setting yourself up for failure, right? It just helps.
There's a lot of psychology in there.
Yeah.
It really is. I mess myself up, but then I fix myself again, so it's all good.
It's good.
So
So
70.
he thought we were going to have about 70, which we could have all fit in Kids Point at that point. But yeah, we had to move it to the auditorium because we do not have, we can't, we can barely, we're going to have breakout sessions during lunch. We're going to have breakout sessions. We're going to have some sessions all together in the morning. We're going to have some fun. Carson's going to bring some really fun stuff to the table. And then we're going to do some breakout sessions while we eat our lunches. And we honestly, we're doing the ladies in Kids Point, and we can just barely fit just the ladies in Kids Point now.
That's wild.
So
So it's
it
pretty
is
exciting.
it's much bigger than we thought. And then we'll come back together for a couple more sessions and some more games and fun, and finish up and be done about 2 o'clock.
So what they can expect when they come is hopefully to receive some tools that can help them
Yes.
encourage and strengthen their marriage. And I say tools because there's no tricks.
We don't have all the
We
answers.
can give tips, but there's no tricks to a healthy marriage or a happy marriage. It takes work. It
So
really does.
let me ask you a question. How far can it go and you can still have hope that it can be restored?
I think you can go all the way past divorce papers, past the divorce, and still have hope.
Death.
So if
Death
there's
is the only
anybody...
thing, death is the only thing that can keep you from.
I was like,
You
hold
can.
on a minute.
I thought you meant. Well, no, past death, and I'm like, no, death is
No,
pretty
no,
much
death
fine.
is-
It was
death
death.
is
Yeah, there was a
line.
word
There's
for
a
that.
movie. There's a movie about
Yeah, no, death
Robin
is
Williams
where-
who goes to
that-
death to fetch
Yeah.
his wife.
Yes,
Because there may be people that are considering, no.
it's not
Yep.
worth it. Or it's not fixable.
Because I think it's important to understand God gives such beautiful, he says the words that I speak is spirit and life-giving, yet he is mindful of the human experience. And what is the reality is, and this is really, really true. Every time I marry somebody, I always lean over just before it's like, I'm like, do you guys really want to do this? If you want to bail, I swear as anything, I'll bail with you. You really want to do this? Nobody's ever said no.
That was my next question. Has anybody ever taken you up on that?
One guy should have. I swear as anything, he should have.
I had one guy leave. Me and him were sitting in the room. The music's playing. The bride is walking down. And we were in the pastor's study, and the pastor's study had a door going outside. And he's looking around, and he says, "Where does that door go?" I said, "The parking lot." We're getting ready. My hand is on the doorknob. My man goes out that door, gets in his car, and drives off.
Runaway groom.
I had to walk down there in front of everybody and say, "Wedding's canceled." Yeah, isn't that crazy? Sorry. I have all the crazy
But that's a
stories.
really
and
good
then-
story.
but
That was
it's very important, because I think sometimes we feel so much shame and hopelessness because it feels like we've gone past the point of no return. And I want to encourage anyone who feels your mind's already made up, because you are carrying so many scars, bruises, and hope defer. Give it a chance.
Yep.
Give it a chance, because it is, I think we all carry the marking of the miracle that God can. And honestly, we are sitting here, and 2 nights ago, I said to her, thank you that we went together. First time we went to counseling, and we lean. I said, "Well, don't touch me. Don't touch me and make it feel like there's more going on here." And I was not angry at her, but when you understand so little about your own self and your own fears and your own buttons and drifting, and you don't understand why can we not communicate, it always lands up in a misunderstanding.
We like to push buttons.
And I think tomorrow
A lot of buttons.
is going to be a tool experience, an honest experience,
So
an
I think-
inviting God experience.
I think couples that are struggling, like what you're talking about, this is what I see, and this is what I hope happens this weekend, is when you're fighting like that, there's always a problem. There's a problem, right? If I say, "Hey, what's the problem between you two?" And they'll say, "It's this," whatever it is. He always keeps their TV remote. He took all the money. Whatever the problem is. And when you're in it, you're blinded by the problem because it's so big. But really, that problem is just the fruit of something else that's going on.
Yeah, it's never there.
And you have to get around other people for them to say, "Yeah, she did that, but bro, have you seen what's going on in your heart, in your soul?" And so being around other people to help shine light, take the spotlight off that one area and let you see the other things that are actually propping it up. And I
that's
think you only
healing.
find that in community. I don't think
Yes.
you can do that
No.
by yourself.
No. Yeah.
No.
Because
So-
a community mirrors to you, and it normalizes the things, right? That
Yeah.
keeps you isolated and in shame. If you can see it in others, that's beautiful.
Yeah, especially being pastors. I mean, like he said, if it hadn't worked, he'd be in Alaska, because it would cause. I mean,
So much
how many
shame.
pastors do we know that have walked away from their marriages and have their church has imploded, and it's not just their marriage that they lost. They didn't just lose their kids. They didn't just lose their spouse,
No.
but they lost their ministry and just because they just wouldn't deal with their crap
We've known some that
inside.
lost a whole community of people,
Or a whole,
Yeah.
yeah.
a town. Like we
Yeah.
personal friends that just
They're
Had to
just
move
like
away.
pretty
Really?
much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the thing that we so easily say to others is be kind to that tiny you that's inside. Be kind to the person that got you this far. Be kind to that 12-year-old that had to face things that nobody even knows about. Be kind. Learn to be curious. Learn to grow. But when we talk about ourselves, go like, so much crap to deal with. but with other people. And I
We have
think
so much grace for other people that we won't have for ourselves.
I think when we understand how complex and marvelously we made, and I'm sure there's malicious people and people that, but I don't think people are born malicious that way. And I think anybody that has any hope tonight that says, you know, there was a time that something happened, and it wasn't with Marlize, it was a ministry experience that hurt me so deep. Probably 2.5 years, every time I pray, I come to forgive me, I'm forced to say, I forgive others. You know, you do know that.
I've heard
I'm
that.
just checking.
I've read it a time or two. That
'Cause
one time, I read the Bible
if
once.
you can't forgive others, you can't be forgiven. And every time I pray that, all of those faces come in front of me.
Yeah.
And I go like, God, how long is it going to take for me to say this before I don't think it? And many things happen. And then I heard this. Can you remember the good days? Can you remember the good days? Because once I begin to remember the good days, then I know if we can go back there, we're going to be awesome when we're old and retired. We're going to be awesome because we love being together. When we're out of this fire pot where the internal of ourselves are just struggling with evolving. And I believe there's beautiful hope and there's celebration because God is mindful.
Yeah. I think marriage, there's always hope. I really
That's
do.
why I said death. I mean, I honestly
that
think
was a
if
good
you
answer.
if you are dead, then it's
Stop
done.
kissing up to Miss Patti.
Listen, I really adore Patti. You know that, right?
Not near
do
as
too.
much as I adore you.
cool.
But yeah, I think honestly, I think if you're still alive and you haven't gone off and married somebody else, then there is still hope for your marriage because there is nothing. And I mean, we're going to tell you some stories tomorrow about how our marriages are not perfect. You don't look at us and go, "Oh, I wish I could have their marriage." Please don't say that.
No.
Because you don't number one, you don't want the issues that we've had to work with. We don't want you to have those issues.
Plus, I'm sure you got your own.
Really, everybody has their own set of issues, but you don't we don't want you to look at us and think that we have it perfect. But any marriage can be fixed. Anything can be fixed. Is it easy? Absolutely not. Some of it's harder than other things. You know, there are some things that are really difficult to get past and really difficult to forgive. But I think until you are dead, there is still life in your marriage.
Are there any questions on Facebook?
I don't think there's
or
any.
anything?
No, nobody's
I
asking
think
any
everybody's
questions.
just
I
sitting
think
there
everybody's
like-
kind of listening.
Just sitting there with their mouths open, kind of like
yeah,
we
my
are.
entire script just went out the door, but that's perfectly fine. 'Cause
Who
it went-
messed that up,
it went-
Carlos?
no,
Who
it was
messed that
I'm
up?
not-
Pierre.
listen,
You.
listen. They think you don't know the buttload by the gospel, but you do. So,
I
had to throw
love
that in. Had to throw it in. Pastor Craig, we were going through this series called The Secret Ingredient. This past week you said, you asked this question, well, I think it was a statement, the secret ingredient to a long-lasting marriage
Is don't quit.
is don't quit.
Just freaking don't quit.
Yep.
I think people quit way too soon.
Yep.
They get they get pissed off about something. I'm not supposed to say pissed off, but
You said it. That's fine.
our sponsors might be removed. But they get upset. How about this? They get crotchety about something.
Oh, that's
That's so
better.
much better,
Say
right?
that a word?
I don't-
Crotchety.
never heard
Never heard of that word my entire
No.
existence.
Your mom would probably not appreciate it coming out of your mouth. However, my mom doesn't
say
listen
it
to
a
the
lot.
podcast because she doesn't know how to turn
Never
it on.
heard
So-
it.
Is it an urban dictionary or can I go look it up?
No, that's a real word. It's
It's
crotchety.
not like a body part.
Yes, it is.
We can explain this not on the air.
I'm really interested. Okay, I'm really invested in knowing what that means. But we
So everybody needs to know Marlize is interested in crotch.
Google the definition.
I also
You
love
want to-
Wordle and words. Who plays Wordle? Do you play Wordle? Katie, girl.
So anyway, what I was
so,
saying.
so just rephrase that whole thing and
Do you
use
play
that word so
Wordle?
you were going
It's
somewhere.
another
Yes.
I was going somewhere. I completely forgot where I was going.
You were saying something about the crotchety taking us somewhere.
one. Good.
Oh,
What was the question again?
don't quit. Don't
yeah,
quit.
don't
Oh,
quit.
what is the secret
okay.
ingredient to a
Thanks.
long-lasting
Don't
marriage?
quit. People get crotchety about certain things,
Yep.
and they will not let it go. They just continue holding on to that problem or that issue. And even when they say, "Oh, I forgive them," but did you really? Because you keep bringing it up. And if you keep bringing it up, then you didn't really forgive them or work through it.
Yes.
And that right there, I see more marriages struggling from those things.
Yes.
Even as, like we were talking over dinner, even things as deep and as painful as an affair. Okay, that is deep. That is horrible. That is just can destroy a home. And Jesus said, well, yeah, legally you can get a divorce for infidelity, but the better way is forgiveness.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. So really, you say what level of
say
hope?
the hurt's too deep to forgive sometimes, right? Is that what people go through?
I think that's what people think.
Yeah.
That's what people think.
I think that's what
That's
people
why they want
think.
to give up.
That it's just too hard to do. And really, it comes down to, I think there's always hope for a marriage, but how much pain are you willing to endure to keep the marriage?
Because not all of the problem is the other person.
Let me tell you something that I think all of the problem is all of us. Because I think even today, one of the main things people are looking for is somebody who's compatible with me, that can support my dreams and will not change me. So I say, if you want to be in a marriage and you don't want to change, there ain't hope for that marriage. Because think about, you are 30 and you look at your younger 20-year-old. How wise do you think you were? Just call it out. You're 30 and looking at your 20-year-old decision. What do you say? What an idiot.
Run, fat. No.
Pastor
Right?
Craig, those are the dumb years.
Those are the dumb
right?
years.
These
Okay,
are
He
dumb
calls
years.
those
Far
the dumb
better.
years.
Then you turn 40 and you're looking at your 30 and you go, what? What a
If I only knew then what I know now.
Yep.
You are so dumb. Then you turn 50 and you look at your 40s and you go like, really?
Why did I wear that?
Then you turn 60 and
Yeah.
you look at your 50 and you go like, really, son? Then you turn 7. We perpetual fools, really is what it is. And I think one of the biggest things is that we've got to understand, God sent the prophet to the potter's house. And he says, and I think he thought that he's the potter. And God says, aren't you the clay? And I think the personal evolving to the restorative work of Christ in us, as we call it, from the garden back to the garden. The only way for things to thrive is if we see our perpetual transformation as part of the solution. But the moment I say, I ain't changing because you screwed up, it's miserable. Because now I've got to pay for the rest of my life for what I did. And I understand the deep pain of it. But evolving, growing, and realizing how we just arrived in America when we wrote this down. John Maxwell says, save your best energy for the people you love the most.
Yeah, that's good.
It was fantastic.
You
It
said that
was on
Sunday.
my wall. I never
Yeah,
did.
No.
Never did.
A
Until
quote today.
quote today, right? And now I can look you in the eyes after 20-some year, 5 years, 23 years of everything, and then pandemic cut it. I go like, I didn't understand it. Because at the end of the day, the richness of the human experience is right here in this room. Right here with all the beautiful people that are sitting here, and knowing that what is the greater gift than seeing each other and knowing the beauty of what God has invested in us, and from us, our children and their children and their children will follow the path of us conducting life.
That's good. That's good. And I love it how you called all the people in the room beautiful. Yeah.
Thanks.
Even Carlos.
Hey,
Carlos is awesome.
Very beautiful.
my wife said he's pretty.
He's pretty. Muy guapo.
Stacy Moore quotes you, and she says 99% of the problem is you aren't getting what you want.
It's very true.
Yep. And
Yep.
Melissa Free came through with the definition of crotchety. Are you ready?
Really?
It is bad-tempered, ill-tempered, ill-natured, ill-humored, peevish.
That is
Don't ever call me crotchety.
astounding.
So you learned a new word
I
tonight.
did.
You're welcome.
I love that. Thank you.
You had to come all the way to Mississippi for a
learn-
new word.
to learn
But
my
by
words.
It's
God.
food and new words, right? Is that it?
It's my love
Good
language.
golly. Food or words?
Words.
Both.
Oh.
Both.
Everything here is just love, love, love.
How long you guys been married, both sides? You already been
30
National
years.
State,
We'll
don't
be
you?
30
30
years
years
how long
this
we've been
30
married.
years this we've been married 30 years this summer, and they've been married 31 years.
Yeah.
Almost the same amount of time.
Yep, but I courted her for 7 years. She dumped me twice.
I did. I was a
But
runaway.
the first time when she dumped, she bought me a racing bike.
I gave him a great goodbye gift.
A motorcycle.
That was a good buy gift.
No, it didn't have that much money. It was a
She made me
bicycle.
Oh,
work.
bicycle.
Like
the
a
kind he
racing
pedaled.
bicycle.
Like a racing.
Did you buy him the
bicycle.
cute little shorts to go with it?
I should have.
But I was so determined. Every time I meet her boyfriend, I go like, "You're wasting your time," because I am going to marry her. Because my soul comes home.
You just knew.
He was my
Right.
Hosea.
But
I was Gomer.
yeah, I wouldn't say that. It's like crotchety. Don't. Goma.
Don't call yourself Gomer.
Don't call yourself. I don't want to
Well,
think about that.
okay, let me rephrase.
Oh, it's
You-
so beautiful.
You covered me with a lot of grace.
But
and
we have
welcomed me
3
home.
years that we can tell you of deep journey of we don't want to go where this is taking us, and we feel we're in a riptide. And we're not sinning, we are not mean, but the riptide is taking us two different directions. And you don't know how to stop it, and the pain.
Deep.
There was a picture that Marlize took once. Because I escape in the garage and I do anything. I bird so many bird houses. I've got 37 bird houses. I go like,
in our yard.
I do. I go like, well, I'm just going to have a lot of bird babies right now. I build bird houses, so many. I would do anything, and I just don't want my kids to see my eyes. And I don't want her to see me. And it's not just me, because the way she looks at me is with so much disappointment. Right? And I can't stomach it because I can't fix it. And every time I say something, I hurt her more. And she came into the garage, and I was standing there. She took a picture of me. She took my phone and took a picture of me. And of course, I'm a real man. I go, what the hell should you do? And she turned around, she says, would you like to live with a guy like this? I still got that picture too today. It evokes so much sadness in me. Because in that garage stood somebody whose soul is so empty, so alone, so fearful. But on Sunday, I've got to walk up on stage and go like, Father's house. And I was not
Welcome.
fake. But until you begin to acknowledge that there is a God that can make all things beautiful. Nobody is bad in this. It's the price of the journey we've taken, what we've elevated, and what we have deemed, and what has given us self-worth, and what are we communicating, and what are we carrying, and what are we promising. And I think God is so kind that for Him, our pain is not lethal. Sometimes it's necessary to adjust our souls.
For sure. Like setting a
Right.
bone. Yeah.
Because when it all started and the journey started, Marlize can share more of that tomorrow. I'm so thankful. And I still have that picture, because if you ever see that guy, you don't want to be his friend.
Yeah. I've seen that picture. It's pretty astounding. It really. He showed it to me. Yeah. Could believe it or not, he showed me his
It's
picture.
like somebody extracted the soul of that human.
I didn't even recognize you at first. Like when I looked at it, he said, look at this picture. And I said, who's this? He's like, that's me in the garage. I can't say garage. We call it a garage here. In the garage.
Oh, we are falling apart.
Yeah.
Had this mindset of almost you said you were inadequate in a room full of pastors, but you were the opposite, and you felt that way in your relationship. And you said intimate relationships reveal what's inside of us, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's where all this is all coming back. I mean, this is all around the same thing of what we've been talking about the last several weeks.
Yeah. Intimacy. This is not the meaning of the word, but it just helps me break it down. You know, intimacy, into me you see.
Yeah.
And so the more intimate we are, really I'm allowing you to see more into me. That's the whole point. And so we're really good at hiding stuff and covering things up in our souls until you allow that person in. If you really, I think people can be married and never be intimate.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about sex. I'm just talking about intimacy.
Yeah.
Letting
And
people
so
in.
When you really open up and allow someone to see inside of you, it's going to reveal what's in you because they have a fresh perspective. You've been looking at yourself for so long, you're kind of used to it. You can get jaded. But someone else that you love, now they're seeing into me and they're speaking it, hopefully, in love. It can be life-changing in a good way, hopefully.
Yeah.
But let me ask you, Maishi, have you ever met anybody that when you're scared to bring you out, but they have themselves that they don't want not to be seen? Because we all humans, right? So, as I did on Sunday, put all the barbed wire out. I said we all stand up behind barbed wire, but we want relationship. And until you have the courage to be authentic, you will find more people that is just like you. And nobody goes like, oh my gosh, really, Patti, is that? Nobody's disappointed or astounded. It just gives others courage to realize it's part of the human experience. I remember Craig and I sat at fishing and we spoke about this thing, and I shared with him, if I can't help people, I've no worth. And he goes like, yeah, I don't even know why you want to be my friend, because what can I offer you? I go like, you offering me you. That's you.
That was an intimate moment between you and me, Pierre. Why are you sharing this? Breaking my heart, bro.
But
Now I'm
it's
offended.
true, right?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Because with pastors, I like you.
Should
Yeah.
speak.
I don't care if your church is in the garage or you never have church again. I like you.
Uh-huh.
I love hanging with you. I love the way you laugh and your jokes and the way you fish and the way I feel when I'm with you. You're a friend. I can be honest. And I think we are all just trapped in this matrix of being scared to break out because we're going to be exposed. Meanwhile, everybody is the same.
Everybody
And
is the
we might
same.
as well just go like, hey, we're all beautiful humans. We don't
We're
have
all broken.
we are all, because you say broken, we're not broken. It's the part of the human experience that we go through things. And we all survivors. We're here. We didn't ask for what we went through. And the world is beautiful. All people are beautiful. Their journeys are beautiful. There's room for everybody at the table. There's no selective process who sit around the table. Nobody is unwelcomed around the table, because grace made room for you, me, us around the table. And only God can give us the courage to say, God, do with me what you want to do with me. But your desire is to restore everything beautiful. And the journey takes us there.
Yeah. That's awesome.
But can we climb out of, what is the thing where cars go on this thing with kids and they go fast?
A roller coaster?
No, you can't build a roller coaster in your home. Kids get this track thing when they get to a certain age.
Like little electric cars?
Yes, and you build this big track in your house and it goes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is it called?
A racetrack?
A racetrack, right?
I mean, I would call it, wouldn't you call it a racetrack?
I guess, yeah.
Call it a racetrack.
Right? While you race, you cannot be present. But you cannot be lazy. But being present, being together, is the highest call of the human experience. And I think I'll conclude my thoughts tomorrow because I've got a lot of thinking on that.
He's got a lot of thinking.
Absolutely.
I think what you I look at it this way. We were not created to be fast. We were just created to just be.
I love that.
I mean, you don't have to go fast. Just be.
Because you go fast for who
Right.
and for what?
Right. What do you have at the end of that? Somebody shaking up a big bottle of champagne over your head, and then you just have to go take a shower.
But if you're not first, you're last.
No, we're not gonna. That's
Ricky
not
Bobby.
scriptural. That may be Ricky Bobby, but it's
But
not
if you're not
scriptural.
first, you're last.
Dear 8-pound, 4 ounce baby Jesus.
Yeah, no.
Do you have a lightning round tonight?
Well, we did. We were like way over time. I did have a few questions, but that's fine. We will save some fun for tomorrow. How about we do that?
Okay, sure.
Unless you guys have time. Do
Do you have a lightning round? You don't have.
I had some little fun wedding questions I wanted to ask you. So
Ask.
newlywed type questions you want to ask. Are y'all ready for that?
Yes.
Are y'all good?
I
for
like-
this?
I
Okay,
like
we'll have
lightning
some fun
round.
then.
And we all answer at once?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, good.
We'll see who.
And
who's
Pierre's
the
not allowed to do
honest one.
long answers. These have to be short answers.
1 to 3 words.
1 to 3 words.
One.
Should I understand by what he just said that I talk too much?
No.
No.
Crotchety, baby.
No.
Where did you go on your first date?
First date. Shoot, ask her.
Wow, that's so long ago. It passed. Sorry.
First
Olive
date.
Garden in the movies.
Olive Garden in the movies.
Olive Garden in the movie.
And she came out first date in this
3 words. We can tell that story later.
Olive Garden in the movies.
I think that was my wife and I's first date was Olive Garden in the movie.
Was it really?
I think it was.
Aw.
Yeah. Yes, it was.
Twinsies. You don't remember?
You don't
Well, I
remember?
asked her
We
to
probably
lunch.
couldn't afford it. We
but
were in South Africa. There's no Olive Garden.
There's no Olive Garden. Or
No.
Chick-fil-A, right?
No,
Nope.
we didn't have first date. I was filling up my car with gas and she came over and kissed me. She did. She did. Swear
How
as
many
anything.
words?
I swear.
How
as
many
anything.
words?
You just walked up to him at the gas station and laid one on him.
There's a backstory which there is no time to
And she
explain
was
right
dressed
now.
as Beauty and the Beast. She was doing a school play.
It was Marie Antoinette. It's not Beauty and the Beast.
You know those are not close to the same.
Our stories. This
It
is
looks all the same to me.
It's a big dress. That's all that matters.
And
to
she
you.
was in costume.
How many
Okay,
words?
3 words. Next question.
Next question.
Who is the better cook?
I was, but now she is.
You were.
100% switched.
Really?
Yes.
Yes.
We're the same. But I don't. See,
No,
she
I don't
said
think we're
me-
the. I don't think you're the better cook. I think you have.
3
there are
words.
things that he does that are better, and there are things that I do that are better. But I don't think either one of us is the better cook.
Yeah, I can't make gravy. I suck at making gravy.
There's nothing that Pierre does that is better right now in this season.
What the heck? That's more than 3 words. That's-
I got it in.
Okay, next question.
It's just real honesty. He was great at cooking. You're good at so many things, babe.
I've got a
Share the
problem
light.
with that
Share the
answer.
light.
Yeah.
Share
I've
the
got a
light.
problem with another answer too. But I'll leave it at that.
Go, Carlos.
I feel like there's some stuff over here.
Yep.
Okay. Do you guys have do you have like a song? Do you have your song? Do you have a song?
Yep.
Yes.
Do you know what it is?
Why don't you
oh,
go
wait
ahead.
a minute. Hang on a
He
minute.
sang it at our wedding.
What is it?
1, 2, 3, sing.
Oh yeah.
You
Which
are
one?
so beautiful.
Yeah, you are so beautiful. There's that other one that it's like that nursery rhyme. Remember? And you thought that I wrote it. I have to remember what it was.
Yeah,
pull
you
that.
guys go.
Go ahead.
Okay, let's see if we're going to 1, 2, 3.
Hey, Jude.
Hey, Jude.
Hey.
He's still mad over
I
the
was
last
gonna-
answer. Like, hey, Jude.
Hey, Jude.
We
Move
were in
on.
England. We were in England, and we're sitting Trafalgar Square. I'm sniffling her neck, just married. Oh, it's the most beautiful smell. I'm nibbling her earlobes, and this dude sings, "Hey, Jude." I'm like, kill me now. It's never gonna get better than this. She turned to me and said, "Isn't that the most attractive man you've ever seen in your life?"
I'm sorry.
it's the
that was
last
so
best
bad.
song.
But it became our song.
Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
Jude, baby.
Let me see. I'm trying to get a good one here because we're running out of time. Let's see. Here's a little easy one.
What is?
Who's the more emotional out of you two?
What
I
kind
guess
of
we have to
emotion?
verbally answer too, since this is also a
Yeah,
podcast.
this is also.
I would say Patty Wendel is the most emotional in our grouping.
It's according to who's been to on-site and who hasn't.
That's true. Let's not bring on-site in this.
Oh.
Let's move on.
I have a thin envelope with passion. Marlize has a thin envelope with tenderness. That scares her. It's going to take her 2 hours to get over that. It's true. It's true. Look.
The
her eyes are
trauma.
Look,
tearing
your
up.
face
The
is flushed.
trauma.
Look.
The trauma.
I can't have cornflakes in my house because I chew too loud.
No, but it really
apparently.
does.
She's so
Next
sensitive.
question. Next question.
Like I'm just saying, if this is making you feel uncomfortable, I'm really nervous about where we're going to go tomorrow because that's like mild for us. Like he eats cornflakes 100 foot away. He wakes me.
we've got big problems.
This is so good. You know, the last podcast, you two kind of had this thing in the beginning. It looks like we switched over to you guys. Okay, last question. What is your spouse's best personality trait?
Oh, I can say it in a split second. She has never put any human in quarantine, no matter how they treat her or hurt her. She has no capability to put somebody in quarantine. I vote them off the island so quickly. She has no capacity for that.
Really.
And that's what I love about her. The tears will run, but she cannot discard.
So that wasn't a split second. You said I can answer that in a split second.
Dang,
It was a
Craig.
split second. It was just many words.
Ironically, yours for Marlize is the same one I would pull out of Patti. Patti, people don't realize this a lot, but behind the scenes, because I hear it, Patti has grace for other people that is so freaking deep. I would shoot him. And she's like, no, you don't understand.
beautiful.
Maybe they just whatever. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, she has incredible grace for other people. Incredible.
Mine's not near as spiritual as that.
Well, it's
So
not
what's yours?
spiritual.
What's
It's really
yours?
you just
What's
put up.
His humor, because he can turn any tense situation. He can turn the room just like that, not by making light of it, but by showing how really insignificant it really is. Because let's just talk about something fun.
Yeah, that's why I love him. He makes me laugh so much.
Yep.
Trustworthy. My heart is so safe with him. No matter what we go through, I'll never doubt that he can be trusted.
That's beautiful.
That's so good.
So good.
Yep.
That's so good. Hey, I love you guys. And I'm going to have our final question for the podcast every week is, what are you currently loving? Like, what's your thing you're loving right now?
You can't ask Marley. She's reading 14 books at one time.
No, I'm actually doing sculpting, clay
Oh,
sculpting.
yes.
Oh.
The human figure sculpting, and I'm really loving that.
What are you loving, Big Daddy?
No, I'm not going to process out loud. I'm going to find the answer in 3 seconds. So you go.
He
first.
loves so many things.
I love hosting.
Mm.
That's what I'm loving this weekend is hosting.
I agree. I am currently loving having these guys in town.
Absolutely.
Because they're an
Oh.
absolute joy. They breathe life
I
into
wish
me.
I said the same. That I want to change my answer. I
No, you
agree.
like
No, your sculpting
sculpting.
is really cool too.
I do, but I like you more.
Yeah.
All right, P. Diddy.
You don't have
I
to say the same thing.
love breaking the rules and finding last night.
Well,
I
he-
always have a story. How can I help it?
That's fine. Come on.
Can you
It's
imagine?
okay.
He's young. Can you imagine him
storyteller.
as a grandfather? Like
Gather
he's gonna
round,
be this
story
come
time with
everybody,
Papa
come
Pierre.
everybody. That is our life. So wherever we go, people are gathering for the
problem is-
I love stories.
story.
The problem
I
is,
love
I
stories.
can't tell you a thing. I've got to bring you in. You've got to feel
You've got to
it.
join.
So BB
He
King,
is a
we are
storyteller.
listening to all this BB King, and it's so beautiful. I'm making idiot of myself. I'm taking pictures, and everything is so beautiful. I'm taking it in, and then I go to the men's room and do what a man does, and
What
I'm
do you
standing there,
love?
and I hear, "I give myself away," and I go like,
Give myself away.
"What is somebody on the toilet singing worship right now? I give myself away so you can use me." And my heart is just melting. And I turn around and there's this guy
The
who's been
attendant.
working there 14 years with his little boombox.
Do you love him? The boombox, the worship, the toilet. What do you
That
love?
moment,
Like, what do you love?
I'm going to just answer
Is it
with
BB
this.
King?
So
Is it the
good.
worship, the music,
look at
the
the face.
man, the coins?
Study that. You know what I love? I
I'll answer
love
for him. He ordered 400 bulbs from Amsterdam to plant in our flower garden.
I love that I've never had time on mission to be present with people. And those are the most beautiful moments for me last night. To sit there and take a picture with this dude and say, your worship and your spirit and your love for Jesus
It's beautiful.
was my day. And that's what I love in this season.
I'm going to piggyback with these guys. Once they told me you guys were coming, I have been a nervous wreck. I've been excited. I have been just thinking nonstop about what we're going to talk about today. And you made it so much easier for me.
All you had to do was just
All you
say,
had to do is turn the
3,
microphones on.
2,
dude.
1, and go.
I told Katie before we walked down, I said, I'm not ready for this because I just had a really bad week. And I worked nights and I didn't sleep well. And it was just like, what am I going to do? What are we going to
I
talk
said
about?
they're going to talk a lot.
Yeah, I
It's
said,
fine.
they're going to talk. That's
Okay,
fine.
so Marlize is
There's
going to
plenty of people
do
to talk.
a birthday thing. May she teach him how you do a birthday thing? Look Carlos in the eye and set it in motion. And do that beautiful birthday thing where you give us all a moment to look somebody in the eye. He had a bad week, but he's doing a fantastic job.
I've taught you well.
Your turn.
Am I about to start crying? Or am I
Probably.
crying?
It hasn't happened yet, so I mean.
Watch this. My wife taught me this. Look him in the eyes. Here we go.
Look at him instructing me. Carlos, happy birthday. I love celebrating you.
Thank you.
You are a gift. And I'm grateful that I can call you a brother. And I'm grateful to be a witness to the way you father. And just your marriage inspires me. I see so much of who you are reflected in Jackie. And it's beautiful. And I want you to know that I'm grateful for the price you've paid, because I know there's probably been loss in the story about your family. But I will take and I will keep what you planted in my heart tonight.
Wow.
About God's gifts are always people. His gifts are always people. And so I pray that in the years to come, you will understand that you are the caretaker of the table. And that I think He's going to entrust you with family and friends, more than you can imagine, more than you probably even lost, because you have a heart and a capacity to embrace. And so I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this moment. And I'm grateful for your sweet spirit,
Thank you.
because it's healing. It's really healing.
Yes. Thank you so much. That's amazing.
Deep breath, Carlos.
These are about these people. I tell you what.
But I
y'all
mean-
are
I mean
so
that.
amazing. I
Yeah.
love you guys so
I
much.
know
mean
you
that.
I love
we're
y'all.
not done
I love
yet.
y'all so
So
much.
this is my turn, then Craig's turn, and then Patty's turn. This is how it goes. So
Start on the
Carlos,
table.
there is something so extraordinary about
Mm.
you, because it takes a very strong man to allow his emotions
Mm.
to go before the expansion of the limitations.
Mm.
Your tender heart, your grace, your love. There's not many people that is forever on my Instagram, but your family is.
Mm.
And there's something about your family where I see it. You guys create a picture that my soul longs for.
It's authentic.
In the exercise, in the presence. You're a good father. You're a good steward. You're a good, faithful servant in the house of God.
Yeah.
You are humble because you have tender words when you speak, and you make a lot of room, and you are faithful. And above all things, you are enough. You are more than enough. You are worthy of love. You are worthy to be celebrated. My prayer is that God, in His time, would heal that big Mexican come together, because God is doing a beautiful work that's ongoing in you. But I want you to know, if you were to ever get on any scale with Jesus, you are more than enough. So that's my celebration of you as a human. Now it's your turn. This is how this birthday goes.
That's just
Just
how
a
we do
moment.
birthdays.
Oh, thank you guys.
It's not his
Wow.
birthday.
No, but it's
Doesn't
his moment for birthday.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is. It could be a very significant day.
It is a significant
It's a
day.
birth of
I'm just
some
going to
kind.
mess with you guys
It's
a little bit.
birth
I
of
am
some
going to share
kind.
something. But it's more fun just to pause for a second and
No,
just
and you are
make everybody go.
you are his pastors. Like you invest. Like there's such a beautiful investment in
Yes.
all of you. I mean, you can witness it.
He's
You
part
can
of
feel it.
your heritage.
Yeah.
It's
Carlos, one of the things that I love about you is your tenacity. Even the way you handle things at work. You know, a lot of the stories you've told me and stuff about some of the people you have to work or get to work with and enjoy being with them. Your tenacity to never sidestep the painful truth of the gospel, even when it doesn't make sense and it's going to hurt somebody's feelings because they're just so
far from it,
off. You have the tenacity and the strength to still speak truth into those situations. You do well at the grace as well, but I think a lot of times people might buckle under that moment, and you never do. You always are just a man of tenacity, and I mean that on the positive side of that word, not the negative side. And I think that tenacity it also shows in your family, and I'm not talking about Jackie and the kids. I'm talking about your extended family, where you've been through a lot. You've had a lot of lack, if you will, with relationships and whatnot. But your tenacity to not give up and not quit, the Lord's really brought you into an area where now you have a beautiful family, Jackie and the kids.
Absolutely.
And you also have a beautiful family of choice at SouthPoint that gives you the ability and the strength to build a bridge over all that hurt. But all of that's only there because God put in you a tenacity from the beginning, and you've stayed true to that and been tenacious. So I love it.
Love that.
Thank you so much.
Yep. I guess I have to go now. Okay.
I hate this. Just to let you know,
okay.
I hate
Do you
all
know
this.
what?
But I'm very thankful.
Do you know what? We all do. But it's the most lasting thing every birthday. Because it's easy to give. It's so hard to receive kindness. So in this moment, open your heart. Hear from your mama there.
That is kind of what I've become. But yeah, what I'm thankful for is that, and the rest of you don't take this wrong, you're a Tello without being a Tello.
Absolutely.
That you have risen above what has happened to your name, your family name, and you have been the person that God created you to be, and you've not run from it, and you've not been tainted by anybody else's story or anybody else's actions. You are a Tello, but you've risen above what you could have been and what you saw others in your family become, because you knew there was a higher way and you knew there was a kingdom way, and you followed after that instead.
Love that.
I love you guys so much.
We
Y'all are
love you
amazing.
too, Carlos.
Hey, we are looking so much forward to what tomorrow's gonna bring. Everybody coming tomorrow. We'll see you at 8:30 in the morning.
Breakfast.
And
at
if we
8:30.
are not going to see you tomorrow, we'll see you Sunday morning at 9 o'clock and
Yes.
10:15.
It's gonna be awesome.
Pastor Pierre and Miss Marlize will be with us all weekend. It's going to be amazing.
Yep.
My goodness, we
Gonna
love
be
you
good.
guys. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. Bye.
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 So peace out, people.